Penn Delhi, which is looking at the interests of writers and journalists. One of the things that's happening is that there's a case in the Supreme Court filed by the Foundation for Media Professionals against criminal defamation. So that case is basically an appeal to decriminalize defamation in the country. The hearings for that case ended last week, and Justice Deepak Mishra is expected to give his judgment in the next 3 weeks. So, Penn Delhi is planning a little campaign around alerting journalists who have defamation cases against them, authors and publishers who've faced defamation cases, asking them to write uh, about defamation, about how perhaps they've been hurt or they've been harassed with frivolous defamation suits filed against them. I don't think civil defamation is going to go away, but at least there's an opportunity for decriminalizing defamation. And I don't think we've had an opportunity as stark and I mean uh, as opportune as this, in that sense. So I would urge all of you to talk to either your authors, or if you could also write, talk to various newspapers and magazines, dailies, write online about it. Just spread the word. We won't be possibly able to influence how the judge is thinking, and we technically shouldn't be trying to do that. But I think creating awareness, and especially mass awareness, will will at least allow for better commentary, and also a little more introspection from the Supreme Court when they're looking at coming out with the judgment. So we've got 3 weeks of time, and if you could all just get people activated into writing about it, would be of great help. Thanks.
Is there some place we also need to write in to show support at Penn? Has Penn launched some online space?
So I got this idea when I landed here, day before yesterday, and so we've started things moving because three of the lawyers who work with Penn Delhi are involved in these cases. So we've got intimate knowledge about what's going on. I've been busy with the Netut ID campaign, so I haven't really focused on this one. But I think in another week's time, I'll have more of an idea and we'll have more things moving. We're also getting Penn International to issue a statement. Penn England was very, very effective in its campaign for decriminalization of defamation. So anything we can learn from them, we've got support systems everywhere. But I think we need the community that's affected the most to stand up and talk about it. Thanks.
So for those of us in the room who don't know Penn, Penn is an international organization that represents writers and authorship, and there is a Delhi chapter in India. And the law of defamation in India is at civil level and at criminal level. So you can be sued at civil and criminal level as of now. So this judgment will actually impact on decriminalizing criminal defamation. And this is what the awareness that he's trying to create towards that. So I think there are publishers, I mean, Kannan is not here, but some of his cases, he has had defamation problems. I don't know, other publishers I'm sure have experienced this in one way or the other. So please do think about it and support this, at least thinking about why we need to decriminalize defamation in the country. I'll now hand the mic over to Satya for the next panel, which is a panel that will talk about growth strategies for publishing, since we want publishers to also think about how they can build their businesses in different ways, whether through strategies, technologies, and skills. Satya has already, you've met him yesterday on one of the panels, so he needs no further introduction, and he'll introduce his other panelists quickly who are new to publishing next. Thank you.
Thanks, Sunita. Okay, I think this is a panel that's first of its kind that we are doing at Publishing Next. Very often publishing conferences talk mostly about editorial, about sales, about distribution, about translation, about all these kinds of things. So very rarely do we actually get to talk about the other parts of the publishing business. So how do you look at the business as a whole, and not only as, how do you commission books, or how do you edit books, or how do you, translate books, how do you sell books, and all of that. So we are looking at some of the other aspects of the publishing business. And for the first time, for instance, we have somebody who's a CFO of a company on a panel here at Publishing Next. We have Amit Abrol from HarperCollins, whom I will introduce shortly. So we hope to do more of such panels where we can give the perspective of the publishing business from a very different point of view. Now, technology has been changing publishing drastically on the editorial side, of course. We all know what's been happening with ebooks and all of that. And on the sales side too, with respect to ebooks, how books are sold and marketed and stuff like that. But there are other parts of the business too that you don't see from the outside. So how sales orders are captured, how orders are shipped, how warehousing is managed, how inventory and billing is managed, and then also how there is a mechanism to look at how royalties can be calculated, royalty statements generated, so all of this. So that part of the business will be also something that's part of this panel today. And we are looking at hearing from all these publishers, not so much on how technology helped us in the past. I mean, there have been various developments in the past, but what's happening today and what they see as the outlook for the near-term future. So we can try and learn from some of their experiences, and also learn from what they believe is likely to happen. So their insights into what's likely to happen in the future. So let me just quickly introduce my panel. On my far right is Alin Maheshwari. He's the Marketing and Copyright Director of the Rajkamal Prakashan Group. After completing his post-graduation from the SP Jain Institute of Management, he started the modern retail, e-commerce as well as e-book section for the group. And they're a Hindi publisher. To his left is Amit Abrol, who's a chartered accountant by qualification. He's the CFO and operations head at HarperCollins and looks after the finance, operations, HR, and IT functions in the company. And he's been in the publishing industry for quite some time. He's worked with Sage, he's worked with Hachette and Penguin in the past. So he has a very intimate knowledge of how things work in publishing from a business point of view. To my right, immediate right, is Andre. I think you are somewhere else in this. So, okay. Okay, so I will take the liberty of skipping, introducing Andre. You know him already. To my left is Anurima Roy. She looks after the marketing and publicity for Bloomsbury India, and is responsible for marketing and publicity and social media for the trade, academic, and children's lists. So she's also been in the publishing industry for a long time. She's been at Oxford University Press and Hachette too in the past. And to my far left is Gandhi Kannadasan. Thanks. So he's a lawyer by training, and he started Kannadasan Paripagam, a Tamil publishing house, in 1977 while still a student. He started by publishing the books of his father, the Tamil poet Kaviyarasu Kannadasan, and after his father's death moved on to publish books in Tamil translated from English. Okay. So I'm going to start off by first doing one set of questions with everybody in terms of what they see as the outlook for the publishing industry in their respective spheres. So I'll start by asking Amit to talk about how he sees the publishing industry, that the growth of the publishing industry over the last 2-3 years, and trying to project that into the future in terms of how publishing in India has been growing and what his outlook is for that.
As Satya said, so I've actually worked across companies within the publishing industry. I mean, I came into publishing by accident, as I've said in my profile there. But it's a journey which I think I mean, I joined publishing in 1999, and it's been, it has had its ups and downs. But then I think now, for the past some years, I've started to actually enjoy it. I joined Harper about exactly 5 years back, actually. And, apart from what you mentioned about the publishing generally, I think what I've seen myself from a specific, HarperCollins point of view is the way, we've kind of evolved the processes, because, there's one basic thing which has changed over the past 5 years, because when I joined Harper, it was essentially a joint venture with an Indian company, in the India Today group. So we had a different set of processes, different ways of doing things, different, perspective altogether on, the way we were actually wanting to grow the business. It was good. I mean, I'm not saying that no pros and cons there, but then, so sometime about 3 years back, when HarperCollins UK, bought over the LMI stake, so we suddenly, found ourselves in the middle of complete upheaval in terms of, the processes, how we, it came as a surprise to most of us, many of us rather, that even the way we were doing things were actually, it looked at as if, we were still learning there. So there were some processes which we thought were correct, which we later on came to know, sorry.
When you say processes, could you sort of explain what you mean?
Yeah, so processes around, absolutely. Processes around, my immediate area of finance, for example, the way we were, since you mentioned calculating royalties, for example, so that is one thing. The way we were generating reports, the way we were forecasting. So I think that's for me has been the single most important factor, the way I have changed, myself. I'm just talking about myself here, but which in a way has also led to, the overall change. So I mean, we started to actually take a 360-degree view, which was not happening earlier at all. And whether it's, come because the management change or not, I'm not sure. But then I think it has come for the better, and I think we're still trying to basically, take that forward. Now, the one major thing which I've observed, which I've still observed, even after 5 years at Harper, is on our local publishing front. Now, that is, for me, I mean, we've got so many authors here. For me, that is actually the most important, area. I mean, so it's about 35% of our revenues come from local publishing, and about 60 to 65% come from our trading, books. So trading, it was.
When you say local publishing, you mean English publishing in India?
English publishing. We've got a few Hindi books, but largely English books, yes.
So just to clarify, because local language is...
Oh yeah, sorry. When I say local publishing, I mean the Indian originated, largely in English language.
As opposed to books that are published by HarperCollins outside the world and you import and...
So that's what I call the trading model,
right,
which is about 60 to 65% of our overall revenue. So what I have, over the last 3 years, I've seen that the revenues that we were generating from the local publishing is actually, was coming from volumes rather than values, which is fine. I mean, if it's good to grow volumes. But then what was also happening was we were publishing, I think, far too many titles, one, which also meant that, we were not able to pay enough attention to every one of them the way we would have liked. So we've had bestsellers, yes, but then we would have liked to actually, just kind of broaden that list a bit. So then we took a conscious decision about a year back, which is, I think it's worked all right. So what we've been trying to do is we have a 5-year plan set up for the next, 3-year plan, where we have kind of agreed to, slash down, not immediately, but progressively over the next 3 years, we've tried to slash down the number of local titles that we publish here. At the same time, if you want to achieve whatever, 10 to 15% growth on the local, the list, I keep mentioning local list. So then the growth has to come from prices, right? I mean, if you have all prices or you sell more of what you publish. So for me, I think the two biggest factors which I set a goal for myself is that print less, sell more. And which I think I'm seeing the results kind of already, even though it's going to be a gradual process, but I think we're getting there.
Just to clarify again, I think this works. So when you say the sales is coming more from volumes rather than value, to sort of clarify for everybody, volumes meaning you're selling, let's say you're selling 1 lakh copies of 50 titles, right? So 50 titles selling 1 lakh copies, so that's 2,000 copies sold per title. So that's volume. What you would rather prefer is to have 10 titles.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So each selling,
Each selling, yeah.
10,000 copies each.
So
So that's
I mean, to give an example, if you're publishing 200, 225 titles, we're getting to a certain, turnover. I would be far more comfortable actually doing, lesser number of titles. I mean, it puts pressure on my logistics, on my warehouse, on my accounting, on my road, everything. On sales, of course. So what we've tried to do is just to kind of, make the basket a little leaner in that sense. And I think we'll get there. We're already seeing a kind of a shift towards that.
I'll come back to you on a few other things. Could you tell us, Anurima, about what your experience has been on a similar?
Yeah, well, Bloomsbury is the second startup I'm working for. I started Hachette earlier in 2008 with Amit. He was around. And Bloomsbury is the second startup. Bloomsbury, of course, entered in India only in 2012, as I'm sure all of you know, or most of you know. It is a very small publishing house compared to the larger giants. We're not a big giant. We are niche in terms of publishing. We only do very good literary fiction or narrative nonfiction. And the only difference... Small means the list is going to become is going to remain literary. The voice is very well defined, which is important in today's world to have an identity where you have a voice and you stick to the voice. So we will publish literary fiction, yes. We will publish narrative nonfiction, yes. We will publish a certain kind of book under a certain imprint, and that's it. And we'll not go over that.
In terms of numbers,
yeah.
They're doing right now and bringing it down a bit. So small in your terms would mean how many titles a year kind of a thing?
So we've got different divisions. So if you're talking about international trade, which is important because Bloomsbury is again truly global. When I say truly global, a title, a book, or an author is acquired by the entire group. So an Indian author, for example, we published Raj Kamal Jha's She Will Build Him a City. We've published Don't Let Him Know by Sandeep Roy. Bought in India, published by the entire group. So the advance or the money is paid by the group as a whole, not just by India. So everybody pays, everybody makes their marketing plans, everyone pitches, gives in their sales numbers, defines their quantity that they're going to buy, and then all of us sell the book. That is what I call truly global. So how many of those books can you really do in a year? You shouldn't do more than 12 to 20. It cannot go more than 20 at any cost. Yes, we also have different imprints. We've got a custom publishing imprint, something I think everybody was talking about yesterday. That is doing very well, and this is the time of custom publishing. People who buy, you have to have conviction in your own book. I mean, if you're writing a book and you say you can't buy back quantities or nobody else can buy quantities, then you already know there's no audience for you.
Okay, just to again clarify, what does custom publishing mean?
It's self-publishing. Something which you call vanity publishing. Really, but it has to go through a process. It cannot be done in isolation again. I mean, I want to publish a book. I can't just write my content and go into a printing press and publish it. One shouldn't. It has to go through all the quality checks, which is why it's important for publishers to have a custom publishing department, rather than going to a site or somewhere where they say, okay, fine, just give us your content and we'll publish it. So when I'm talking about international trade again, numbers matter. I agree with Amit in that you publish small quantities, you be focused in your list, you do focused marketing, get in the revenue for those, try to aim to sell lots of those, get them translated into many languages, which is what it is the time of translations. Yeah. That's what. No, I said smaller number of titles. Focused titles sell more. You publish a lesser number of titles, but you sell more, but you define your voice. Voice today is the most important thing in every publishing industry, in every publishing house. That's what I completely feel. And that's the way forward. Everybody should know the list that a publisher does just by listening to hearing the name. Okay, HarperCollins does this, Hachette does this, Penguin does this, Bloomsbury does this. You know the publisher and you know what they're publishing. And that's essentially what it should be. Everybody, otherwise, today we see everybody's publishing everything. Commercial, whatever is selling is, people are just publishing commercials suddenly because that's what sells, Authors which we wouldn't have touched 10 years ago, are being, wooed into publishing houses to be published just because of the numbers. I'd just like to add an important fact here that a publisher's job is not only to cater to market tastes, it is supposed to build market tastes as well. So unless you have a voice, you'll never be able to build a market taste. You're just going to keep catering to them. And ultimately, I mean, we all know where it's going.
So what would you say is your outlook for the industry? What would you say is your outlook for the industry going ahead? How do you see
Yeah,
it?
so this is how it has to go ahead. Vision is important, voice is important. You don't do too much, you do a you publish which is right, what defines your voice truly. You focus, do very, very focused marketing. It is not the time, gone are the days where there were so many bookstores. We had the luxury of going to bookstores, browsing, being able to read book blurbs, look at the cover, feel the cover, and then buy books. It's all gone. So it's time to market directly to consumers to come and buy. For that, you publish a small list and you focus and you go all out and you market them and sell them.
In terms of growth, what kind of growth do you see over the coming years? He mentioned 10 to 15% growth is what they're seeing. So how do you see that?
If the titles are reduced and if the marketing team is able to focus on fewer titles, the sales team is able to focus on fewer titles, I don't see anything less than 25% growth in our company, because it can happen. It is possible to happen. You just have to go for it, believe in it, and go for it.
Okay.
And we have to grow like that. I mean, we've just entered the market, Bloomsbury. Don't we have to grow in that? We have to take that kind of a leap, and we have to grow in that way. If we don't, we won't be able to survive in this market. How do you think we'll be able to survive with such a small list?
And do you think that the market outside, not in terms of what you can do, how many titles you publish and focus on it and all that, but the number of readers and the kind of price sensitivity that is out there and all that can
somehow
help you?
price sensitivity is only related to books. It's not related to anything else. Nobody cares about buying a 2,000 rupee dress, watching a film, which two people going and watching a film, which will cost you 2,500 rupees. Nobody is worried about price sensitivity in anything else other than books. Price your books high, please. If you can buy a book worth 499 or 599, please, I'm sure you can buy it at 899. Authors don't make any money. Publishers don't make any money. Please make them some money. And stop asking for gratis copies all the time and free copies all the time, and saying, I'm a reviewer, I have a blog. I'm going to review your book in my blog. How many people are there in your blog? 15 people. You go and see there are about 15 people coming to your blog and looking at your book. Fine, great, all publicity is good, but I think we are going to fall in our own trap about saying all publicity is good, because everybody seems to be a reviewer today.
I have to announce this back to my team when I get there. I'm a marketing person agreeing to a price revision, which I keep talking about all the time.
So you mean she wants a price lowering of books?
Well, if not lowering,
Not to increase the price. Please increase your prices, guys. If you don't increase your prices, nobody is going to sell anything. And today, I'll ask everyone to do an experiment when you go home. Everyone is a publisher, etc., in their own might. Everybody is doing something or the other. Do a free session for children or do a free session for adults. You'll see 5 people coming in. Charge 2,000 rupees. There'll be 50 people coming in. Nobody attaches value to anything which is free. And let's not give them this thing to give. And somehow everything attached to books are free. We've done launches. We've heard of launches. We know of publishing houses who have done 200, 300 launches in a year. You are calling the whole world, giving them free booze, giving them free food, spending 4 lakhs at a 5-star hotel for an evening to entertain the author and his friends and family and neighbors and dogs and cats, etc., to sell 20 copies. You end up selling 20 copies, not even that at times. So that's all gone. No more events.
I just wanted to check with Andre on how he sees what he's been hearing here with his experiences. He's been an author, he's been worked in publishing houses, he's now also teaching in a publishing studies program. So how do you see that, Andre?
Well, I could agree with quite a few things that have been said here, but that would be rather boring. So I would rather put some stuff we've been hearing in the last day and a half in a more global perspective, and start by saying that it seems to be that the publishing has a certain kind of identity crisis nowadays. I mean, there is one book, we teach our students that the book to read about publishing is John B. Thompson's book, Merchants of Culture. And while we are nowadays all certain that we need to be merchants if we are working in publishing or everywhere else, we are not so sure about culture anymore. And this somehow is shown in the 3 big changes that have happened lately due to the technological changes in the publishing industry. The first is the selection of book content. I was very glad to hear that you tend to publish less, because all the other trends in publishing industries go in the other direction. Everybody publishes more and more, and I was so very happy to hear you to also agree with that. The other thing is that the carrier has changed and the distribution has changed too. We've heard a little bit about the latter two here already, so maybe I'll just say a few things about the first one, but before that, let me just mention that all three changes affect the way how people read nowadays. We have a book again published by Nicholas Carr, The Shallows. If I just sum it up very quickly, it says that we don't read that deep anymore. We read on the surface, and some businesses are very happy to adapt to this model, which is probably not the thing that the publisher should do. We were talking here about the changed role of the publisher from it used to be, publishers used to be gatekeepers, and now they are, we heard yesterday, they are a pathway. Sometimes, very often this is interpreted as kind of the democratic approach. I come from a country that was under a one-party system, so not what we likely call democratic until '91. So we were very happy to see the democratization coming, and when the internet came, we all said, oh, this is going to democratize it all. But what we see now, when we have these refugees coming through Europe, most of the stuff that people write on the democratic internet is hate speech. And some newsletters and some sites that had comments before started closing the chance for the comment because it goes in the other direction. One thing I cannot emphasize enough is what you said about building the audience. It's the most important things for publishers to somehow build the audience, to develop the readers. How this connects with keeping the prices high, I'm not so sure. I heard quite a few people yesterday who said they are giving away free books, free ebook downloads. It might lead to something, it might lead to a certain amount of readers, but are these the readers who we want? I'm not too sure. Just to finish up with a small research we did in Slovenia, I talked with several people. They said we have no real data about publishing in India. We made a big research in Slovenia last year. It turned out that 27% of people who do read books also read ebooks. So this is a market, but it's not really a market because less than 10% who read ebooks pay for those ebooks. So you cannot live on that one. So far, so good.
I'd just like to add to this that I find sites every day selling free books. Every day we can find our new books selling free on one site or the other, and every day we are pulling them down, asking UK to pull some down, whatever it's from their end, whatever we have, every day you can download books. They're available. The Sachin Tendulkar book was available to download free the other day. There's a new Margaret Atwood which is available to download, and we keep shutting them down. But the thing is, you can also see how many downloads it's already had. So it's already had 27, 28, 30, 40, 80 downloads. So those books are read free. That's why the boom for ebooks. That's why we say, oh, there's so much readership.
From English, let's look at very different perspective from the languages. So I'll ask Gandhi to tell us a little bit about the situation in the Tamil publishing industry. First in terms of the outlook, what the outlook is for the industry, how is it growing, and then how many titles are being published, and again the difference between volume and value. How do you see that playing out in the industry across all the publishers? Because there is a wide spectrum of publishers, so how different people are doing different things, and also in terms of building the audience. So what's possible there, and whether piracy is something that's important.
I'll answer one after the other. Yeah. If you remember, can I take the? Yeah. Okay. Good evening. Sitting there and sitting here makes a lot of difference. I didn't mean sitting next to Anurima, right? So, anyway, see, the Tamil publishing industry, okay, finished laughing? I love that last laugh. Asha, see, what happens is, the Tamil Nadu has got a very good literacy rate. And all these years, our government is very supportive. And our library movement, started by the learned Kamraj, was one of the biggest library movements in India. and it is growing. And the next ambitious library project that came up was every panchayat should have a library. Anyway, that was shut down by this government. That was started by the earlier government. They already bought about 11,000 copies in each title. So that was shut down by this. Okay, anyway, it's lying low now. And then our Anna Centenary Library, which you also know, okay? Now, what happens with the publishing scenario is as old as almost 100 years. The Tamil language publishing is as old as 100 years to 120 years. There is two publishing company that is still existing. One is Alliance, which has come 100 years plus, now they're going on strong. And then there is another company, Lifco, which is going to touch 100 years. So it's such a traditional publishing we have. And we have somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 essays registered publishers, and unregistered publishers are more than around 3,000 to 4,000. So it's about, comes to about 7,000 to 8,000 publishers, known publishers, which is who publish books regularly. And then our Tamil has a wealth of literature, because our tradition comes right from the Sangam period and comes from the 13th and 14th and 12th century. So we have wealth of literature. And our government also started one thing called nationalization of authors whose books are not available in the market one way or the other, just because of some legal aid problem or due to the publisher not publishing it. So the government has nationalized, say about more than about 60 to 70 authors. So the content is, we have enough content, we have great content in terms of speaking on content, we have great content, volume of content we have is plenty. And so that everybody can survive. And the library orders are minimum 1,000 copies, so anyone can survive with those orders. And what is the next question? Yeah.
How many titles are published typically every year?
Yeah,
and
okay.
how is the industry growing? What rate is the industry growing?
Coming to the present, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. The declared titles will be, the known titles will be somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500 titles, somewhere known declared titles will be. And those self-published, vanity publishing and other teacher after retirement turning into a publisher, all those things will produce about another 100 to 150 titles. So about 2,500 titles, you can definitely take for sure. That's about 200 titles a month are coming out, minimum in Tamil. So which is likely to be more?
No, how do you see the growth of the industry as a whole? I mean,
Yeah.
at what rate is it growing?
Yeah. Actually, fundamentally the growth of Tamil publishing industry is linked with the government, one. And second thing is, we have an excellent retail bookstores. Throughout Tamil Nadu, we have, and if you can imagine, in smaller villages, we have bookshops. Even in smaller villages, we have good bookshops which sell, and maybe in a small quantity. But the thing is, your money is secure, and he repeatedly gives you an order. And it is an excellent way of doing it. And we have somewhere around, according to me, we have about 1,800 bookshops in our list. In our computer, we have 1,800 bookshops. We have 4 branches.
At what rate would you expect the industry is growing?
So about 10 to 15%.
10 to 15%
Yeah,
a year.
obviously.
Okay. And typically, how many titles would each publisher publish every year?
See, it depends on the size of the publisher. You see, we may be big in turnover, but the thing is, what we are doing is about 50 to 60 titles. And what you are doing in Kidukku?
We are also now doing about 50
to 60 titles. So which brings out an average of about big publishers 50 to 60 and medium publishers around 25 to 30. Small publishers depends on the library order that's going to come. They all have, everything made in a CD form. Okay, they'll keep it in a CD. Once the library order announced, then immediately they go for a POD, print about 100 copies, submit to the library. Once a library order comes, they print 1,000 copies. So now the technology is also used this way also for us, and which means the growth is about 15 to 20% regular growth.
Okay. And in terms of pricing, how do you see the pricing relative to what Anurima was saying?
Yeah.
Is there price resistance? What is the typical pricing for a book?
Why this Q&A? You don't know that, right? I was a lawyer, okay? So, so I would love to answer questions and ask questions. And I can't put everything in my mind to just bring it out because I'm just thinking of talking on the technology what we're using, right? Okay, I'll come back to that next. Can I? Sorry?
Yeah, sure. Oh, so what is the, what was I asking? I forgot. Yeah, pricing. That's what I was asking.
Pricing. See, actually, we publish, our IPO, right? Initial print order, our IPO is somewhere around 1,500 copies for each title. Because our content is very strong. We take content very seriously. We plan our content, we think our content, and we want the content not to fail. So that's the main reason we select the content and do it, layout and everything. And the price, because it is 1,500 copies, and we are very sure within a year it will sell 4,500 copies, that it may go for 2 more reprints. We are very sure. We price it on a very medium level. But normal pricing is for a demi-size, what do you call the size? Is it?
Yeah,
Demi-size, demi-size. They price it around somewhere 12 to 15 rupees, or 10 to 12 rupees to 15 rupees they price. Because if they go for a POD, I mean print on demand.
So this is for 12 to 15 rupees a copy, you mean?
No. For 16 pages. For 16 pages.
So what would be the retail price of a book, an MRP of a book?
Yeah, MRP of
Book, typical MRP, average book.
Average book of an MRP of which form? How many forms? About 10 forms?
I mean, any typical book that
Any
is
typical book.
Your bestseller, for instance.
Yeah, bestseller, we normally don't increase the price. Dr. Abdul Kalam's book, Agnichiragal, which is the translation of Wings of Fire, we sold about 6 lakh copies so far, and we are still selling. And the price was 130 in 2007. We are still maintaining the price. See, the thing is, it depends on the volume. But the normal average price of a Tamil selling book is from 60 to 150 to 400 rupees.
So now would you say that a typical book that you're publishing, which you expect to sell 2,000-3,000 copies a year, what would be the typical price of that?
Yeah, typical price will be 150 to 200. Say somewhere around 320 pages. Less than 220 pages. 320 pages.
Okay, and
20 forms. See, we keep about 10. Because the volume is more. 3,000 copies will definitely sell in a year.
Okay, and now looking at the same concept of volumes versus value, what would be your reaction to that?
See, if the volume is more, my idea, okay, the volume is more, we don't want to increase the price because it is affordability that counts as far as a regional reader is a concern. So I want him to buy. So I can definitely not think about making more money out of it. I don't mind going in the second class air-conditioned coach rather than going in the plane if I could afford to reduce the price of my book. Because it could reach a reader. That's what I want.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll come to questions a little later. Okay. Now, in terms of piracy, what's the impact on Tamil, would you say?
I'm very happy to inform you all that there are no pirates available in India. In Tamil Nadu. In India, that's my dream. There are no pirates available in Tamil Nadu.
So
But we have plagiarists. Okay?
that's a different conversation. We'll come to that later. Now,
But there are no piracy. There is no piracy. Otherwise, they could have pirated many of my books. They have not done.
One of the things that's interesting to ponder in this context is why is there no piracy
Tamil
in
Nadu.
Tamil? I don't know about Hindi.
No, because we got a prize. We got a prize which is called Beat the Pirate Prize. That's where we score.
So that's an interesting point where you may want to increase price, but then the moment you increase price, you may also have to deal with piracy. in a very low price scenario, the pirates simply can't compete. So they don't even try. So that's an interesting point I wanted to make. Okay, yeah, thank you, Gandhi. I'll come back to you later.
Thank you.
So I now ask Aline to talk about similar situation in the Hindi publishing industry as a whole.
Thank you. I'm completely agree with Amit ji and Arunava ji ki if you have less titles, you can focus on them more.
You can see for each title what is my pub date. For example, I don't know who all attended the session today about the social media session. So there was a book called Darjeeling, which is releasing on 15 September in India, but it is already released in the US in May. And we were supposed to print at the same time, and we said no. We do not publish books, and the big books should only go in September. So we decide when we want to publish it, what cover, what our price is. Similarly, we release William Dalrymple's books, for example. India releases first, and then it may be UK or US or whoever, but we release it first. So everything is there. What we are pricing it at, what UK is pricing it at, what is their pub date, what Australia is doing, what US is doing, and what anybody else is doing.
So how do you have these discussions? I mean,
we have a global marketing plan. So I make my marketing plan, circulate it to all the others. Then they add in all their inputs, send it back. We send it then to the agent and the author and circulate it to the group. In fact, all our marketing plans, all the reviews go into the central system of Biblo. Everybody can go into it and look at all the coverage which has come for every book, area-wise, country-wise, and and what the plans were.
Okay. Thank you, Rama. Now I'd like to ask Amit to tell us a bit about what he's doing in the technology front in Harper.
So the thing that I spoke about again, the lowering the number of titles, that's all very well to say. But then what we've also seen is that, I mean, it sounds very simple. It's not, that the scheduling of the titles, for example. I mean, it may come as a surprise to a lot of us, but then, simple things in the entire pub schedule, right from the manuscript to when you actually ship the books out. Every second title was becoming a crunch title, which is not the way, we're supposed to work anyway.
When you say crunch title, what do you mean?
Crunch title that, we want this like this. I mean, first, since you got the manuscript delayed, then, all these steps have got delayed, and suddenly, you see that, no, we want this yesterday. So it's got so bad in between. So what we've tried to do is, it's a very simple process. We call it the critical path process, where, so it's basically nothing but kind of a Google Plus sheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet, nothing else. It's a very, very simple kind of thing. It looks very simple, and it's very simple to operate. We've just tried to map each and every process in the entire pub, right? Even finance is involved, finance, logistics, of course. But so, every step has a date to it. I mean, it's very simple. It sounds very simple, but believe me, when you actually get down to it, you see people actually, spending their brains over it, like, well, where did I go wrong? So then, because one date shifts and your entire process. So, because, it's very important for us now, especially since we are looking to reduce the number of titles, but which also means that whatever we have to get them right. We have to get them out at the right moment. So I think that's worked, I think, quite well for us. We've been on that for about a year or so.
Okay. So what you're saying is you have an Excel sheet where you have the entire schedule of the book from the time it's commissioned.
Yes.
The dates when it should be manuscript
exactly.
should be ready.
So how it works essentially is it's nothing but a date-based things. Okay. But even a simple date there. I mean, if one date, I've seen it happening. Where one date changes and your entire flow obviously changes. Okay. So we've tried to get that right, and I think it's worked well.
So multiple people will have access to the same sheet,
absolutely, yes.
And then they'll keep making the changes.
Exactly. So it's kind of put on a central server where me, marketing, sales, editorial, of course. So they all feed in there. It's very simple to operate, but very difficult to at times, get right. Yeah. But it's working. Okay.
How do you use technology in your inventory and billing and managing of your finances?
Well, now that's a specific question. So what we've got is we are not in a fully operated ERP yet. We try to do that. So we've got two sets of software that we use. One is what we call the Bookmaster, which I'm sure a lot of other publishers here are also using. So Bookmaster is basically an Australian developed, customized software for book publishing. So we use that for inventory, receivables, and sales, of course. And then what we've got is a finance, which is again an in-house developed software. I mean, just to go back a little bit, I tried 2 years back to operate the finance module also out of Bookmaster, but then we were not fully comfortable with that.
Okay. So for finance alone, you use something else.
And then the problem is the two systems do not talk to each other. But then what we've done over the past about 8 months is we've made the systems talk to each other, where it's a forced thing where we take out kind of reports from one system and just plant into the other one, because earlier it was more or less a very, very manual process. I mean, we were working on the report from one system, then actually making entries in books of account, but now that has stopped. So it's a completely it's a semi-integrated semi-ERP kind of a software that we're using now.
Okay. And how do you manage your warehousing? How do you use technology there? Do you have a lot of automation in your warehouse?
Not to that extent. So the only automation that I can say is, like the same Bookmaster that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it allows us to an extent to actually automate some of our processes, things like even the annual stock take, for example, because that is one function that I've actually come to like very much about Bookmaster. It gives us, that's just a small example. In terms of the other automation, we haven't really gone there yet, because I haven't seen too many publishers here, even the other pairs, for example, Penguin or. So I think we still need a bit of time and resources to get there.
Okay. Thanks, Amit. Okay, Andre, your perspective on use of technology in publishing, how it has changed over the years, what are they doing now?
If I compare what my publishing house for which I worked did, it seems to be just the same as HarperCollins India. So this seems to be global when you reach certain scale of number of books being published. We use tracking down where the book content is. We use every possible data, and we collect every possible data and get depressed on book sales, and we use, of course, all the possible social media promotion that we can give to our authors. But the problem comes maybe later when you try to reach some wider audiences. For example, within your publishing house, you can decide these tools are quite cheap nowadays. People learn how to use them very fast. But then just try to get one of your authors to the national TV, for example. That would bring him increased number of sold copies. This is not so easy nowadays. It used to be in previous times. So this is the way where we need to expand, actually.
Thanks, Andre. I'd like to come to you now.
Yeah.
On how you're using technology in your business in things other than editorial and sales.
Can I go elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure.
I took his permission. I told him, I told the chair that, can I go elaborate on that? He said yes. And anyway.
For 2 minutes.
Thank you, you are gracious. Okay. See, how many of you are here regional publishers, regional language publishers? How many of you are here? Fine. How many of you are here regionalized English book publishers on a small level? Okay, fine, okay. So how many of you have got more than 2 crore turnover and a 1 crore turnover? How many of you? Okay, very few, which means, but this is my audience. Huh? For 2 or 3. No, yeah, okay. Acha. Now, why I'm telling you is, see, the thing is, for a small publisher, technology is a must. If you are going to harness technology, definitely I tell you, piracy or e-book, stealing away your content in e-books, nothing is going to affect you at all. First of all, in your company, you should have the integration of your accounts. What is the basis of your company is the accounts. Without the money, you don't know where you're going. Without the proper accounts, without the proper inventory, you don't know where you're going, where you're sailing. So basically, we corrected that with the, you don't have, we customized the software also. See, we have been in the system computers right from 1997. 95, we bought a computer. At that time, it was MS-DOS and WordStar. So even then we were able to do some kind of an accounting software, which did not work much anyway. So the thing is, later on, things started changing up. Now we have a software called Tally ERP9. We are using ERP. Okay, so we are using everything for that. We have about around 48 to 52 staffs there. We have about 4 branches, and we are able to interlink our entire accounts. And most of all, authors never trust publishers on the royalty count. Okay, so they come to our office and say, I'm told my book is not being available there. I'm told my book is not available in Madurai. Then I tell, okay, kindly go and meet my girl Jayanti. She'll open up the Tally and she'll show you where the book went, on which date, under which bill, and what the discount was also given. So when you're threadbare with your authors, they're not going to go anywhere, because Tally is something that you cannot alter. So the thing is, with Tally, we are able to do royalty calculations. We are able to do TDS, and thanks to Mr. Modi, now VAT is going to come. Actually, VAT is going to come for publishing also. Wait, let me finish that. And FBPA and FIP is fighting on that. Okay, we have been representing them, because I was vice president in FBPA and FIP also. So what do you want to say on that? VAT? No, sorry, GST. But yeah, GST is going to come. GST is going to come. So which is about 2 to 4%. So which is definitely going to come, and we are fighting for that. And then you can fill the tax forms, challans, and conversion. I mean, and the entire account can be converted into PDF.
Half a minute more.
The rest, my guide will read.
You have half a minute.
Okay, fine. Okay, then what happens is, this is the way that then goes up. You have online sales. Okay, to promote online sales, you have to have a website. Okay, we have a website that is in English as well as in Tamil. Okay, so this helps not only to promote and sell my books, and also to promote our company and the brand name, because whoever in abroad does not know Tamil, and then we tell them, you just click on the English, so that the website will come in English. So that projects your company to a third person, and this is the way the website has gone. Half minute over? Right.
Thank you. Thanks, Gandhi. Aline, what would you have to say about how we are using technology? Not only in your company, but across the Tamil publishing industry.
Hindi.
Sorry, the Hindi publishing industry.
Actually,
With Gandhi.
I believe Hindi publishing industry right now is in a transmission period. Some of them are develop themselves technology friendly, and some of still planning to, or just afraiding to be technology friendly, because they think it is bit expensive, maintenance issue. Because for better technology you need some.
Keep it like this, actually. Yeah.
For better technology, you need some better resources, some better manpower, which Hindi industry is lack of. And what?
Yeah. So basically, when your own company, how do you use technology?
We have billing softwares like Pub Plus by
Okay.
Spring Software.
Mm-hmm.
Through this we manage the inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And we use accounting them also.
Mm-hmm.
All the branches, all the data we take backup, all the
Okay.
facilities there.
Okay.
And recently we relaunched our website, which has a royalty calculator.
Mm-hmm.
It's not live right now, but backend work is done.
Mm-hmm.
In that we have done, if somebody, some author is log in our website and go to a particular panel, he can just log in his username and password. Then all the sale done by our website is he can track which state, how many books are sold, which title, if they have 2 or 3 different titles. This title is 2 copies, or 5 copies, or 15 copies. And total below that the total amount of copies sold. And this after that we are planning to integrate with the offline sale.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the offline sales, we will upload it to the panel so that the authors can check it.
Okay. And currently, you are selling ebooks across which platforms?
Our ebooks are on major every platforms like Daily Hunt, Flipkart, Google Play Books, Rockstand, and we recently launched our app also, which is ebook enabled.
You're also on Google Books?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now when you have these multiple platforms that you're selling ebooks on, you'll be getting orders from all these different platforms, right? So how do you manage these orders? Do you use any software to manage these orders? Have you considered?
Right now we are not using any other software. We are using it manually.
You get mails and
update,
then
we manually update the prices and inventories, and as soon as we order, we procure that.
Okay, but have you considered, you were talking about Unicommerce, so you...
Yeah, we are planning to, but we are not started with that.
Okay, what does that software do? Could you explain
that software
for the audience?
If you are in marketplace and 2 or 3 portals or more than that, Unicommerce can integrate all the control panel in one website, so that you can manage your inventory, your price, and everything through one updation. So no need to update in different panel, different every time.
Okay, okay. Gandhi, I just wanted to ask you about the same thing.
Yeah.
In terms of the e-commerce platforms on which you sell.
Yeah, very much.
Which platforms do you sell on? And
see, our website orders, the money is processed through CC Avenue.
Okay, no, but which are the other platforms you sell? Your own website is one.
Yeah. My own website. Then we have apps, and then we have our own, what do you call that? Facebook orders. Facebook. Then we have free apps. I can show you that. See, we created a free apps.
You're selling your ebooks through your own website. You're selling ebooks.
No, we are not selling through. We are selling through Google. And we are selling through what do you call that? Amazon. We are selling.
Okay, Daily Hunt.
Daily Hunt, apps books, ebooks. Yeah.
Ebooks. Yeah. Okay. So now all of these orders that you get from Google, from Amazon, and so on, how do you actually consolidate? Do you look at consolidating them, or do you look at handling each of them separately?
Separately.
Separately.
Yeah, because 3-party ledgers, whatever money they give comes into their account. And
so the money is fine, but the order processing.
Like
you said
different.
About Unicommerce, so you're doing it separately.
Separate.
Okay. How many people have heard of Unicommerce or something like that?
No, we are not.
Okay. Okay, just to clarify, okay, so now as a publisher, you would like to be selling on every platform. I'm talking not just ebooks, but print books too, right? So you have listed your print books on, say, Amazon, you have listed it on Flipkart, you have listed it on, Infibeam, or you have listed it on, you could even do it on Snapdeal or whoever, right? So you will keep getting orders from all of these different channels. Now, when you get the orders from all of these different channels, you have to now go and look at each of these websites of each of these channels to see whether there is an order, and you have to process it there. But you also have to give them your inventory status, because if there is no inventory, you shouldn't be listing it there. So now what you do is you would have to split your inventory and say, okay, I will put 5 in this, 5 in this, 5 in this, 5 in this. So you have 25 and you do that, and then slowly it comes down. But the other alternative is to go with somebody like, say, Unicommerce. I'm not suggesting that you should go with them specifically. That's just a name that I'm giving you as an example of idea. What they do is they integrate all of the different channels into one window. So you get a single dashboard on which you can see all the orders at one shot. And then you can also give a specific inventory to them, and they will manage the inventory across different channels. So if you say you have 25 copies, the moment there is an order in one channel, then that will decrease across all the channels. They will show 24 copies. So that makes managing the sales across multiple channels easy. And for a publisher, I think that it's increasingly going to be quite important. So that might be something that you might want to look into at some point of time.
But the volume has not gone up. So
so that's something
so
that
the problem comes. So as long as the volume is very much manageable level, I think we can maintain.
We can manage
this. And
absolutely.
Once the volume goes up, what you say is absolutely right.
Right. So do you see large sales of ebooks now relative to print books? How would you compare your ebooks? What percentage?
Because the migrant population of Tamil is more throughout the world. So only thing is we are not taking the books to them, so ebooks to them. So it may happen in a very later
But currently, what percentage of your sales would come from ebooks?
Very negligible.
Very negligible.
Very negligible.
Yeah. Okay. And Aline, in your case,
ebook sales.
ebook sales will be what percentage?
It's around to 1 to 3% right now.
1 to 3%. Okay.
But soon it will grow it. But soon
Yeah.
it will grow it.
And
as,
what go ahead.
as I know before coming here before 2 or 3 days, Amazon is already done their work to come in regional languages in Kindle as a ebooks. So probably December or January is going to come in as a regional languages in with Kindle.
Okay, so then you expect it to expand much more.
Uh.
Okay, we can just pass it to Amit. Amit, in your case, what would be your experience with ebooks? How is the sales percentage relative to your overall
We
sales?
haven't really seen. I mean, I'm talking about the HarperCollins India books, that is. So we are currently looking at about 2 to 3%. I think same as what you said.
Okay. And would
But
you
sorry, and a couple of things which have, or rather one, thing which has not gone in favor of ebooks is obviously the, Flipkart moving out completely. But then what we are also seeing is, because, currently we are on Google, we are on Amazon, we are on Daily Hunt, yeah. But yeah, now so a couple of, other big e-tailers that we're looking at is Scribd and Kobo. So I think we are banking upon them to actually just take up the percentage.
Okay, but were your expectations for ebooks higher?
Yes.
So, and you've found that they're not really growing as
We
fast
haven't,
as you expected?
the other thing is, which I've seen, I don't know why that is happening, is that we've seen the more than the locally published books. What we are, getting from HarperCollins US, for example, or the UK, those books are doing far better in India than. I'm not sure what the reason is. Whether it's because the price cannot be a factor there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what is happening.
Okay, that's interesting.
So that's maybe a case in point.
It's quite similar at the moment. The foreign books are doing better, and the bestsellers are selling on ebooks much easier. And they're also because for the big books like Khaled Hosseini and all of that, there are promotions that are run from UK and the US which trickles down, and which is easier for people to buy. But in India, we don't have a vision yet, and that's what we're trying to build actually. Ebooks is not really, will not be the future immediately, but yeah, one has to think about doing a lot of ebooks, and then the digital marketing will play an even bigger role, once the ebook starts. So we'll have to think on those lines. We are already thinking, but somehow the Indian books, even though they are global pubs, are selling better in UK and in the US than they're selling here. It's amazing. Our India books are selling better in the
What percentage of your sales is ebooks today in India?
It's less. It's about 3 to 4%. Yeah, but in the UK, it's phenomenal. It's huge.
So how do you
US
see?
is even bigger.
So what's your outlook for ebooks in India going ahead?
Well, we hope to build it up to at least 10%, maybe.
Over
in a
what
couple
period of time?
years.
Next, how many years?
Well, 2 years hopefully.
2
but
years?
yeah, at least. We the other thing is we should set a high target. If we set a higher target, we'll land in somewhere. We should say 15% in 1 year, and then.
What would you do to make that happen?
We'll market. What else is there to do? You market it.
But is it enough
you
if
market
you?
everything. That's it.
Is marketing enough, or do you see
Market
also the
is
fact that
marketing is enough for everything?
there are
Whether
not
there is
enough-
content or not, marketing is enough. Period. Marketing is
So
king.
you can sell something that doesn't
Content
exist.
is queen. But marketing.
Okay.
We will just market it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I think I just wanted to check with Andre also.
Well, the figures for the whole Europe are more or less the same. It's between 1 and 5%. 5 in maybe Germany, 1 in Slovenia, and it goes as far as 3. The figures in the US are quite different, though, much higher, but quite a big portion of that, we cannot say how much, but I would say most of it goes to the self-published books on Amazon. So that's one special field that has a very special business model, which is not to be applied on the present publishers.
I think one more question that I had for you and Amit. Now, you've been talking about marketing, and have you looked at going direct to customers, selling publisher directly to customers?
That's what we are doing. We have
No, in the sense of not marketing alone, but even selling. So collecting the payment directly from the customer.
It's a very, very difficult thing to do. And like we said, we spent 4 lakhs to sell 20 books. if you have to go with that model. But yeah, the only successful publisher who's doing that really is Scholastic, who's selling it directly. That model is completely unique. Nobody is able to replicate it, and I don't think anyone should even try. It should come with a sort of statutory warning for trying that stunt out again. But they have marketed, they have perfected that in their own field. Of course, they have trouble. There's so much damage, there is so much loss, there's money going on, but that is their model. And I think they do it pretty well. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a nightmare. Where is the manpower? I mean, how many people can publishers hire? Publishing is not an industry in India to begin with.
So you don't really see it as important that you have a direct connect with your customer. You know your customer's name and what his reading history is, and
yeah, but of course we want to do that. I mean, it's on.
It's the holy grail.
So the first thing we need to do is have a website, which we don't have yet. We have an India page on the Bloomsbury UK website. So first thing we need to do is have a website. But even after having a website, logistics, it would be a logistical nightmare. What do you think, Amit? Wouldn't it be a logistical nightmare, or it'll be okay to process books constantly?
Did you mean selling off the website? And
no, selling books directly.
No, I think from a legal point of view, I'm not sure we have the permissions to do that, because e-com in India is not. I mean, there is no FDI allowed in e-com. The way, I mean, as I understand it, and we can. Well, you're actually right, but then we have got conflicting opinions even on that, because we've gone through the lawyers. So some of the lawyers have.
What do you mean books are ours? In what way? But do you know that? No, I agree. But like it could be Hachette UK and Random US. So is it Hachette? I mean,
No, I think what you mean is the the books published here. Is that what you mean? Or? Including the like for example in our case.
No, we won't sell anywhere.
No, what I mean is like we as HarperCollins India, if we're publishing our own books, compared to if we're importing the books out.
You mean from the mother brand also?
That's interesting because.
So it's only HarperCollins India, but.
That's what I meant. That's
that's
interesting.
What are you going to tell the customer? Oh, I can only give you these two. I can't give you the other.
Okay, so there's a regulatory issue there, which doesn't allow you to do that. Okay, I think it's time to open to the audience for questions. So there's the first question over there. Let me just see where are the other questions from. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll take 4. Okay, we'll take that one first. Mike, there, please.
It was a very interesting figure of ebook sale percentage. I just wanted to know how much time and effort goes into promotion of your physical copies of book, and how much time and effort goes into promotion of your ebooks.
Promotion. So would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, bulk of our promotions is towards ebooks, of course. But then I think that's all. Sorry, towards p-books. Yeah, which probably makes sense, because again, I think it's more of a catch-22. Till the time that we see the ebook market really growing, we can't.
Yeah, that's on a list of things to do in future, to market our ebooks more. First of all, I mean, there should be some buy. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. So, unless you set yourself a target which is high enough, I mean, if I'm going to be so lenient on myself and say, let's just grow like 2% more in the next year and we'll be happy with it, then I won't even grow that much, would I?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let us set ourselves high target. Like I said, let's price our books high. It doesn't matter, and see. Yeah, that's what. No, so she's saying if you're thinking of growing 15%, of course that's the plan of doing more, and which is again where digital marketing comes in more, because ebook as opposed to printed books, which we can market in several different ways. Ebooks, there's only 1 or 2 probably ways to market it.
We tried 2 or 3 books we promoted with Daily Hunt, and that books really go well. Downloads of those books really increased, but we don't push every book in ebook. We are more focused on our printed books right now.
Yeah. So when you say you promoted it, did you promote it or did they promote it?
we give the discounts to.
Okay, and
It's
then
also
they
part of
offer it.
promotion.
Okay, that's the promotion. Okay.
Yeah, that is the very good experience with News Hunt. Sorry, the Daily Hunt. So, actually, we have been getting checks for 45,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees, and 70,000 rupees a month. So they have been doing it very well on that ground, and we are so happy about it. And we want to give them more titles. Only thing is, they want to have a discount. They say you offer a discount to the reader, and which we are reluctant to offer a discount because we don't want to price lesser than the printed copy, and probably it's going to take some time, and that's the reason it is slowly the sales is slow. But the thing is, we don't want to underprice the electronic book rather than the print. So that's the reason. And Google has already given us about $1,230 or something like that. And it is their share. I mean, our share is 52% and their share is 48%. And the 52% share itself is about 1,200. So I think it's Google is going to grow as well as News Center is going to grow. And about 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. It is a fantastic sale for us, if you ask me. And only about 10 or 12 titles in Google, and about 40 titles are there with you. 60 titles are with News Hunt. But once the promo comes up, actually we have done one more promo, like free apps. We have made it in the Google Play Store, and it's about songs of my father. So it has already gone about 50,000 to 1 lakh downloads. So it's free. So there, after the song, they can touch the Kannadasan Padipom advertisement that takes them directly to the Padipom website. Okay, the same way we are planning for News Hunt also. So one more free apps. No, the thing is, we really appreciate a reader who buys a book, the hard copy, the print made book. Yeah, e-book is something which, where the book is not, physical copy is not available, I want them to buy that. Where the physical copy is available, let them buy the physical copy. You're right, sir. You're right, sir. Probably.
Did you want to pay more for something which is more convenient? Yeah, you'll pay more.
Yeah.
For it, right? Yes. So please price it higher.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
have,
just one more. Yeah.
but that's why I got the mic here. Anyway.
Hello. Hi. My question is to Anurima and Amit. Anurima has been raving about increasing prices of books, whether it's P-books or e-books. However, at the same time, none of the publishers are taking a stand on a new arrival which is released today, being sold at a 50% off on an Amazon or a Flipkart. So what's the point of releasing the prices when the same books are sold at half the price?
We are completely in agreement with you, and everybody is taking a stand, and there's a constant war happening, about that. They have no business to. In fact, that's in. Sorry. It's marketplace model. How can you take out the titles? We are not even there on it. People are, they're registered.
You are not there, but it's your distributor who distributes
Absolutely.
to physical bookstores who's there. Don't distribute with them.
But you've sold
distribute with?
So you are not there. It's only because the question what this gentleman had is why don't you directly sell, because it's legally not allowed. So
Okay,
it's
you
it's
want
just
that-
a medium which is being used. Your own distributors who are discounting, whether it's funded by the online sellers or not. However, so what's the point in increasing the
See-
prices when it is anyways being sold at half the price?
It is the money which is burnt not on the publisher's side, it is burnt by the online seller. So if they want, if you're discounting it from your own pocket, you're welcome to do it, but the norm is not to give more than 25% off. We've been fighting for this for at least 7-8 years now. We've had massive conversations, fights about it, and as long as we publishers could directly deal with them, it was even better. But if that is a bubble which is going to burst, they will not be able to discount anything very much for very long.
So here I want to say this, Flipkart for that example, okay? Flipkart people, without telling us, they just, one day, one fine morning, you open the Flipkart site, it says 30% off, 20% off. Then we said, you are not underselling my books. Then they said, see, you have already given it to us, we will do it. We said, one more time, if I see there is a discount price, discounted on the book, then we are pulling it out. Then they did it again. Okay, then we spoke to them, but they are not soft about it. They're just a little rude about it. Somebody is supplying us, we will do it. Then I issued a legal notice. I told them, you are not supposed to sell my books. That's all. Whether you sell it on a discount, you don't sell it on a discount. Now they have the catalog, and when you go there and you see it is out of stock. There is no stock. So you have to take a very strong stand that whether, if they are not there, Amazon is there. Amazon is there, very good people. They say, we don't want to undersell our book. We don't want to give a discount on the book. Please don't give a discount. Because we want traditional booksellers to survive rather than these online booksellers. Okay, we want them. Because these fellows may close their shop tomorrow and go. But an online bookseller, but a traditional bookseller, where he will go? Once he closes, he cannot open, like Landmark. So we don't want to encourage the online booksellers at all. So we tell them, no discount. If you are going to give a discount, then they say, we got courier and everything. Can I? Yeah.
Wait, 1 second. Mics have to go around. Sorry.
So, yeah. No, listen. No, I'm talking about my books, sir. Okay. No, it is not cheaper. My books are not cheaper.
A very brief remark. In Europe, most of the countries have a fixed price system for the book, where you have a price that's on the book and you need to sell by that price for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. There are a few exceptions. For example, if it's a book reading, it's cheaper and this and that, but basically this system works, and that there have been analyses in this system, and somehow it makes a broader amount of titles being available for the audience, for the readership, and definitely it does help the booksellers.
Vinuta?
Just to go back to something I think that had come up about the percentage of ebook sales. For the last 3-4 years, we are reporting anything between 1 to 3%, 4%. Nobody still gives me a correct figure. It's always between 1 and 3 and 3 and 4. And
I would actually say it's smaller than that.
I know it's smaller than that. That's why I want to know. I know it's smaller than that. I want an exact figure. And I want to understand that despite for the last 5 years and 6 editions of this conference, with all the gung-ho-ness about ebooks, why are we not selling ebooks in the way that it's predicted? Because now the devices are there, affordability is there, mobile apps are there. So we are more ready now in the last 2 years. Why hasn't it translated in your, in your assessment and research, what is coming?
We are trying to find the same answer. Since you asked. And since you asked for a specific, value, I think in our case it's about 2%. Not 2 to 3%. It is about close to about 2%.
Thank you.
Just trying to answer
we
that.
We also want the bookstores to survive.
Thank you.
We also want the bookstores that are left to survive.
Okay, just to answer, I think on the tangible, non-tangible debate, I think I've always had this debate internally, and ebooks probably are not taking off the way it is supposed to. All of us assume that by today it would be at least 14-15%. It's not tangible, and hence consumers are not willing to pay for something that they're not getting tangible. And that's a clear debate that I have it. So we have a loyalty card. We have 6 lakh loyalty customers as Crossroad bookstores. The moment I make that card mobile, saying that I will not issue the yellow card, you just use your mobile number, he will stop paying me the 250 rupees that he pays me. So there is a continuous debate between tangible and intangible. I think music, classic case of iPhone, iTunes not working, people not downloading, people not paying. So and vis-a-vis the Ghana.com and the Savan now doing exceedingly well. So I think that kind of a model is more appreciated, which is subscription and ad based, rather than a per view or per book page.
There's a question here.
So the process, this question is for Satya. Satya, the dial for books, I believe this is like a good model for every publisher that they can adapt it. Can you give how the process works in the back end, from the supply chain perspective.
Okay, sure. So what happens is that for our own books, we know exactly how many copies we have. And a customer can call a number at any time of the day, 24 hours, and nobody will actually pick the phone. There'll be a recorded message that says, please tell us what book you want, tell us your name, your address, and your number. Number, of course, is captured, and we'll get back to you. So the moment that call comes, we have an automatic capture system. So every call is logged, and we have an interface where all the calls are listed. So the next morning, or if it's happening during the day, people will respond, somebody in our office will respond immediately. But if it's happening out of office hours, then somebody will come the next day and call all of these people. And then if it's a book that's ours and we know we have it, we'll immediately capture the order and then ship the book the same day. If it's from some other publisher like say Kannadasan Padipugam, then we would have to check with them whether they have it in stock. And in some cases, we may have some of their copies because we also have a retail outlet. So some of their copies may be in our retail outlet. So we know for sure that there is a copy with us, so we can take the order. Otherwise, we have to check if it's in stock. If it is in stock, then we would capture the order. Otherwise, we tell them that we don't have the book, so we can't take your order right now. And all these orders, from the time it is captured, there is again an interface where people can track. So we have captured the order, and the order is in under processing. Then we have placed the order with the other publisher. Then we have received the copy from the other publisher. So the status keeps changing till it's shipped and closed. And then finally, there's the loop of payment that closes when the VPP payment comes back, which takes about 15-20 days. And then we close that thing. So that's the way the entire thing works right now. Yeah, there's a question there. Ask for it.
When Dial for Books buy books from us or from any other publishers other than their own, they pay cash. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Any one of you publishers thinking about building an app where directly person can purchase the book, print book, not the e-books, print books from the mobile apps?
Yeah, the app we developed. The app we developed is the option. You want to buy a print book or a e-book. If you want to buy a print book, just fill your address and everything. We will ship that book. Or if you want to buy an e-book, it immediately downloads on your app, mobile.
Do you see any impact of Flipkart closing its ebook app?
I don't think anybody is selling on Flipkart much. We have not seen sales. They are closing because they are not doing anything much themselves is probably what is happening. So.
No, basically what happens is with Flipkart and other online people, book is a bait for them to bring. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, a book is a bait for them, okay, to lure a reader who may buy some more things or some other things along with that. That's the main reason they are losing this bait. So e-books, I'm sorry.
There was some question here somewhere. Somebody had a question, no? Yeah, there. Sorry.
My question is specifically for Mr. Amit as a CFO. I always have a question for various titles. Are there various rules or processes for pricing a book? Do you go through it in a financial way of ratio analysis or other kind of financial things?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
means how do you price a book? Is there a formula for it?
Well, there is no formula. What we do is we have a costing that we do for each and every title. There is actually a P&L that we prepare, a full-fledged P&L for each and every.
For every title, there is a separate
yes.
P&L.
For
every title, there is a
For
P&L.
every title, we have a separate P&L. Yes. I mean, it can't be a straight formula. It may or may not work.
But for every title, there would be a different rule to it.
Yes. For every title that we publish here, that's what I meant. Whatever title that we publish here. Yeah.
So in this P&L, you would be also analyzing the quantity to be printed?
Everything, yeah.
Everything.
So right from print runs to what the marketing budgets are going to be, what what the I mean, it's basically an entire P&L down to the net profit.
Thank you.
Right now it will be about close to 10%.
Excuse me. I do understand that overheads are big, heavy for especially the big firms, the organized firms, not us small players. But what happens to the Allen Lane vision that books have to be affordable? Is it still relevant, and more so in a country like India? And also a small add-on question: do you all have a different pay structure for paying commission to your outlets in Tamil book publishing as against English?
Okay, we'll just let her take the first one and then we'll.
You'd like us to answer the fact that books should be affordable for people. So this question is, so somehow this is only asked for books. Nobody asks for anything else to be cheaper. But books always people want free. Books always should be cheaper. Books always should be a problem. The vision is to increase prices of books and for people to buy them in bigger quantities and read them, because a book is an experience which which you'll never get anywhere else. So overheads, it's not just the overheads. To produce quality content, when you're talking about content, like I said, marketing is everything, but I'll of course differ from that a little bit. But when you're looking at a good book, a good writer, when you're commissioning a big non-fiction book, there's a lot of research that goes into it. Is anybody even thinking of what that author is going through? There are authors who are traveling sometimes on foot, walking miles on end to do a particular research. They're writing books after doing years of research. The compensation they get for it is very, very little. Honestly, in honest terms, if he were to spend that amount of time in a corporate job, he'd make at least 5 times more the money. So he's doing this, or an author is doing. Authors write books, and I'm talking purely of non-fiction at the moment, which includes research. And for fiction writing, which seems like just a story, it needs also tons of imagination and time. So one's work needs to be rewarded.